Hello everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings here, and this video is why body positivity and that kind of stuff is kind of BS. Now, I'm all for not having a mental disorder about your body, but there's a difference between accepting that you're being unhealthy versus being okay with how you are when you're healthy. So first of all, at least in developed countries and places like the United States and California, most people are not in the shape that they should naturally be in. That's because most people sit down for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours every day. They get very little activity. I mean, it's pretty crazy, but they actually have to recommend people that, oh, you gotta walk at least 20 minutes a day. Young people that go to school, I'm not one of them, and I know there's a lot of people that do exercise, but there's a lot of people who literally only, all the walking they might do is between classes. When before COVID, some students wouldn't even walk between their classes. Some would go as far as to take an Uber from one side of the campus to the other. Many more would get various electric devices to carry them there. They couldn't even walk for 3 to 7 minutes, depending on where you're. I mean, maybe if it was on exactly opposite sides of the campus, it could take you 10 minutes. But yeah, that's how little exercise a lot of people get. So little that if you have a good understanding of the human body, you can notice them walking around, and they're extremely unstable. If you were to just slightly push on them, they would fall over. Their legs are weak from not walking. It's like if you were in a hospital bed for a year, you would have to learn to walk again. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but I mean, even if you were just in a hospital bed, not moving, in a coma for a few weeks, you would have a very hard time walking. Now, it wouldn't take you a year to get back to it, but if you were in a coma for a couple weeks, you wouldn't be able to just get out of bed and walk home. You wouldn't even be able to just get out of bed and walk down the hallway. So that same kind of occurrence, I mean, that's not what this video is about, but it does happen with people. I see that their legs are just very unstable because they hardly ever walk. But the point is that body positivity often overlooks the fact that the shape people are in is not how they're supposed to be. We're not meant to be sitting down, not moving, literally all day long. It's actually supposed to be the opposite, where we're walking around for the majority of the day. So I've got a proposition for you. Before you go and accept your body and, oh, I love myself, I love how I look, even if you're way out of shape, start exercising, and however you end up after you're doing a good amount of exercising, accept that shape. Because it's ridiculous to sit around all day, eat excessively all day, be in horrible and unhealthy shape, and then decide, well, this is just how I'm supposed to be. No, it's not how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be 15-20% body fat, maybe 30. Some people, maybe they're supposed to be 10% body fat. But people aren't supposed to be 50% body fat. That's called a whale. I'm joking, but yeah, we're not meant to be really out of shape. You just wouldn't exist. Because until recent human history, if you weren't going around all day, you were dying. So yeah, I said it. You should not embrace body positivity until you start exercising. And the changes aren't going to be overnight, so it's not oh, well, yesterday I walked for 5 hours, and I've been sedentary for the last 10 years of my life. Now I can finally accept that this is how I'm supposed to be. No, you gotta walk all day for a couple years if you've been sedentary for a decade. So put in the time, put in the work, put in the effort, and then once you end up, I mean, it's not even going to be where you naturally should be, because it's pretty much impossible nowadays to be as active as we are meant to be. But you can try to do a pretty good job at it and at least get halfway there or something. Like, I'm not in the shape I'm supposed to be in. And I wouldn't be as muscular as I am naturally, and I wouldn't be as fat as I am naturally. I would be leaner because I'd be doing much more walking around and stuff, and I would be doing less weightlifting. So it's pretty unnatural for me to be at my body fat, especially because I'm very sedentary. At most, for most days, I only get at most a few hours of physical activity. Maybe 4 hours. I'm saying on most days. Like, of course there are some days where I go and I'm just active all day long. But if you're in school or something, or work, maybe at most you'll be active for 3 or 4 hours out of the day, which can be plenty. You don't need to be active for 10 hours out of the day. But yeah, if you're literally sitting all day long, eating all day long, you should not accept that body, because that is the body of death. That is you going towards the grave sooner. That is you being unhealthy. That is the least natural thing there is. You're not supposed to be that way. Only after you start exercising should you embrace body positivity. I hope you like this video. You can hire me for training, advice, consultations, plans, etc. Same thing with diet, same thing with supplements. You cannot hire me for medical advice, but you can hire me to consolidate medical information, give it to you all in one place along with my opinion, make sure you can understand it. That way you have all the information at your fingertips to make the best, most well-informed decisions about your health, instead of relying on somebody else and just blindly trusting them. My website is andrewhutchings.org. My Instagram is natural_true_fitness. And you can hire me to tutor you in chemistry, organic chemistry, chemical biology, whatever. Just not physics, like not advanced physics, not calculus, and not computer programming chemistry.